If you were to ask someone, what's more important, mitzvahs bein adam l'makom or mitzvahs bein adam l'chaveru, the knee-jerk reaction of most people would be, of course, it's bein adam l'makom. We were here, put in this world to serve Hashem, to give Hashem, to sacrifice to Hashem. That's the purpose of this world, isn't it? The problem is that the more you learn about mitzvahs bein adam l'chaveru, the more you realize that this is very much not the case, and there are many, many reasons for this, but let's discuss two. Number one, every single time you do a mitzvah bein adam l'chaveru, you are also doing a mitzvah bein adam l'makom. For the same Rabban Yisraelim that commanded us to shake a lulav and esrog, commanded us to have ahavas Yisrael, and to take care of almanos and yisayimim, and to do hashavas aveda. But secondly, and perhaps even more importantly, due to the destruction of the Beis HaMikdash and Yeridas HaDeiros and the end of the Sanhedrin and the loss of Hilchos Tumah and Tara, out of 613 mitzvahs that were given to us on Har Sinai, do you know how many still apply nowadays? Only 281. Only 281 mitzvahs out of the original 613 still apply nowadays. Out of those 281, 133 are bein adam l'makom, and 148 of them are bein adam l'chaveru, which means that out of the remaining mitzvahs that we have nowadays, more than half of them are direct bein adam l'chaverus. So underappreciating mitzvahs bein adam l'chaveru is disregarding a majority of the mitzvahs we have left in today's day and age. How could we possibly afford to do that? Some people argue and say, well, didn't our greatest Gedalim spend the whole day in a closet just focusing on serving Hashem and Kedusha and Precious? Why shouldn't I do the same? Let me be holy and spiritual like the Gedalim of the past. Leave me alone. Not only is that a mistake, it's a dangerous mistake. Moshe Rabbeinu was about as close to Hashem as one can get. The man who literally saw Hashem's face, so to speak. He was the master of bein adam l'makom. And yet Moshe wasn't Masiach Das from teaching and guiding and loving the Jewish people for a second. For the duration of the entire second half of his life, he would cry on their behalf. He would walk from tent to tent, making sure that each and every person in Klal Yisrael was taken care of and understood the holy Torah he was teaching. Aaron HaKohen, the Kohen Gadol, the man who would go lefnai v'lefnim, a man who excelled in bein adam l'makom, was the epitome of chesed and ahava. He would spend his days with shalom bias issues and mending broken relationships. The Medrash says that when Aaron HaKohen died, his coffin was accompanied by 80,000 boys, all named Aaron, all from parents whose marriages were saved due to Aaron. And those children were named Aaron in his honor. 80,000! Yoshua was picked to be the successor of Moshe Rabbeinu. Why? Was it because he was the smartest? Was it because he fasted every other day? Was it because his Shemona Esrei lasted for hours? No. The Medrash in Bamidbar Rabbah, Chav Zayin Tesvav says it was because he was the only one who woke up early to make sure everybody's bench was set up in the Beis Medrash, and he stayed up late sweeping the Beis Medrash. Rabbeinu Bachya says our great leaders were for the most part all shepherds. Avram, Yitzchak, Yaakov, the Shvatim, Moshe, Shmuel, Navi, David HaMelech, Rebbe Kiva were all shepherds. Why? The reason he says was because shepherding fosters love, and Ahavas Yisrael is the most important trait a leader must have. The entire halachic world follows the opinion of the Beis Hillel over Beis Shammai. Not because they were smarter, not because they displayed more intellectual prowess. The Gemara in Eruvin Yud Gimel Amud Beis says we follow Beis Hillel over Beis Shammai because they were kinder and more patient. The Arizal, one who you would associate as being a mystical man living in a forest, talking to angels, purely focused on closeness to Hashem, the last person you would think who would have any shaykhis to bein adam l'chaveru, was in fact a pillar of Ahavas Yisrael, so much so that he was the one to institute a tefillah in the Siddur specifically for Klal Yisrael to daven for excellence in v'ahavta l'reacha kamecha. The Beis Halevi, Rabbi Yosef Doiv Soloveitchik, the father of the Soloveitchik dynasty, a dynasty that at first glance is the very definition of bein adam l'makom, chumras, an unflinching dedication to every drop of ink in the Shulchan Aruch, lost in the holy, almost unrelatable world of Kudshim. was not only extremely passionate about Ahavas Yisrael, he was so passionate about Ahavas Yisrael, he wrote a sefer called, wait for it, Ahavas Yisrael. And his son Reb Chaim Soloveitchik, who is the father figure of all yeshivas worldwide, one who is literally the face of Torah learning, the face of Ben Adam Lamakum, was such a Baal Chesed that on his tombstone was written, Po Nikva Rabbeinu Hagadol Rav HaChesed. Rav Baruch Ber Leibowitz, the unofficial father of Lumdus, of learning Torah in tremendous depth, told his Talmidim before he died that he is betuach, he is certain that the reason he is getting into Gan Eden is because of his Ahavas Yisrael. The Chavetz Chaim, the epitome of Ben Adam Lamakum, the man who wrote the Mishnah Brura, the way we're supposed to serve Hashem, had V'ahavta l'reacha kamecha pulsing through his veins. He wrote Shmiras HaLashon, he wrote Ahavas Chesed, the Sefer Netiv Chesed, Be'er Mayim Chaim on Lashon Hara, he wrote the Sefer Kuntras Svas Tamim on Mitzvos Ben Adam L'Chaveiro, having to do with our mouth, he wrote Shmiras HaLashon, he wrote the Sefer Ahavas Yisrael on the dangers of Sinas Chinam. We are here as a nation because of the mercy of Reb Chaim Ozer, because of the unfathomable chesed of Reb Aryeh Levine, the universal, unconditional love of Reb Aaron Leib Steinman, the sweet care and kindness of Rav Matisyahu Solomon. The more you look back and see the great people who made our nation into what it is, the more you can truly appreciate Reb Akiva's statement, V'ahavta l'reacha kamecha zeh klal gadol b'Torah. In the year 1703, Reb Yisrael Baal Shem Tov, the founder of Hasidus, was 5 years old, and he was standing by the deathbed of his father, who was moments away from breathing his last breath. And he motioned for the Baal Shem Tov to come closer to him, and he began talking. And the last words spoken to the 5-year-old Baal Shem Tov by his father, Reb Eliezer, were, Yisraelik, love every single Yid, without exception, with the full depth of your heart, and with the full fire of your soul. Love them no matter what. And little 5-year-old Yisrael, who would go on to start one of the greatest and most widespread Ahavas Yisrael campaigns in Jewish history, watched his father close his eyes for the last time, and with his father's words still ringing in his ears, he left the room, and the rest, as they say, is history. Ahavas Yisrael isn't merely nice. It's the very bedrock of our nation.